Has China already managed to get its sixth-generation jets into the air first, while America's much-anticipated F-47 remains stuck years away from even a single test flight? Is Trump's ambitious F-47 dream now facing a serious delay just as Xi Jinping's China quietly opens up a 4-year head start in the race for next-generation air dominance? Could America's only bet on sixth-generation air power already be running into a major setback before the aircraft has even left the ground for its first flight? With the critical engine still not ready and the test flight timeline pushed further back, is the United States now genuinely at risk of losing the broader air dominance race to China? The U.S. sixth-generation fighter program now clearly trails behind China's efforts, as the F-47 continues to face fresh and mounting development delays across its timeline. The U.S. Air Force has now confirmed that it expects the very first F-47 prototype flight to finally take place sometime during the year 2028. General Dale White confirmed this updated and delayed F-47 schedule while speaking at a major defense conference held in Dayton, Ohio, on July 27. This newly revised timeline effectively places the American fighter jet a full 4 years behind China's rival programs, according to a detailed report from Military Watch. Meanwhile, China's Chengdu and Shenyang aircraft corporations have both already completed successful first flights of their own sixth-generation fighters back in 2024. The F-47 will most likely begin its critical flight testing phase using only a temporary interim engine, rather than its intended final power plant, according to the report. Its next-generation NGAP adaptive cycle engine may not actually be ready for full integration into the aircraft until sometime in the early years of the 2030s. The F-35's existing F-135 engine could reportedly be adapted and used as a practical temporary solution to support the F-47's early flight testing phase. The F-47 has been specifically designed around the future NGAP adaptive cycle engine, which is intended to deliver true next-generation propulsion performance. This advanced new engine is expected to eventually produce somewhere between 35,000 to 40,000 pounds of raw thrust once fully developed and integrated. The engine is also expected to deliver significantly greater fuel efficiency compared to the engines currently powering existing fighter jets in active service. Beyond thrust and efficiency, the engine promises noticeably improved electrical power generation along with far better thermal management capabilities overall. Until that advanced engine becomes fully available, the older F-135 engine could realistically serve as a practical and reliable option for early flight testing. The U.S. F-47 is still not expected to officially enter full operational service until sometime during the early years of the 2040s, according to current projections. Interestingly, China could potentially field its very first operational sixth-generation fighter as early as around the year 2030, based on this same detailed report. Boeing has reportedly committed the single highest level of internal financial investment in its entire corporate history specifically toward developing the F-47 program. The U.S. Air Force currently plans to procure only one single sixth-generation fighter design, rather than developing multiple competing aircraft simultaneously. This heavy and unprecedented reliance on just one aircraft design could create serious strategic risks if the F-47 program continues to face further delays down the line. The Pentagon is reportedly currently holding active and ongoing discussions with Lockheed Martin regarding the possibility of major upgrades to the existing F-35 fleet. The ultimate goal behind these discussions is to create a so-called 5+ generation fighter jet by integrating select 6th-generation technologies into the current F-35 design. Lockheed Martin's head Jim Taiclet said, and I quote, "There's significant interest in the government about discussing aircraft modernization writ large, all the way up to the administration level. We're in the middle of that with them, and we're getting heard. We're hearing back, and it's pretty active." Unquote. Lockheed Martin has publicly claimed that this proposed upgrade package could ultimately deliver around 80% of full 6th-generation fighter capability to the F-35. This practical stopgap approach could meaningfully help reduce America's overall air power disadvantage during the extended waiting period before the F-47 finally enters active service. China's 6th-generation fighter program is surging ahead, with reports now confirming that a 5th prototype has already entered flight tests, signaling just how fast Beijing is moving. On July 23, New footage surfaced showing China flight testing what analysts say is the fifth prototype of its very heavy, ultra-long-range sixth-generation combat aircraft. Questions quickly grew over whether footage from an earlier sighting may have shown this same new aircraft, hinting that more prototypes could be flying than publicly acknowledged. The observed jet appeared somewhat different in shape and proportions, but poor image quality has clouded the full view and left analysts debating exactly what China has in the air. Chengdu currently builds the J-20, China's premier fifth-generation stealth fighter, which has quietly become the backbone of the country's high-end air combat fleet. The PLA Air Force is estimated to be acquiring between 100 and 120 new J-20s every year, a production tempo that far outpaces most Western fighter programs. As a result, around 500 J-20 fighters are now believed to be serving with China's Air Force, giving Beijing one of the largest stealth fleets anywhere in the world. Two distinct sixth-generation types are expected to eventually succeed the entire J-20 fleet, splitting China's future air dominance role between different mission sets. Chengdu is reportedly developing an ultra-long-range, ultra-heavy combat aircraft for China, designed to project air power far beyond the country's immediate neighborhood. Meanwhile, Shenyang is building a lighter, but still very heavy fighter type that appears closer to J-20 dimensions, potentially giving the PLA more flexibility in how it fields sixth-gen jets. The first Chengdu sixth-generation prototype reportedly flew on December 26, 2024, marking the start of a test campaign that has progressed at remarkable speed. Within just months, at least 5 separate prototypes have already entered flight testing, suggesting a level of industrial and engineering focus rarely seen in modern fighter programs. Early service entry for these jets was once thought likely only in the early 2030s, in line with typical development timelines for such complex aircraft. Some analysts now estimate that operational deployment could happen as early as 2029 to 2030, shaving years off the original expectations if testing continues at this pace. This rapid prototype progress strongly suggests the program enjoys clear funding priority in Beijing, placing it at the very top of China's air power modernization agenda. An earlier deployment of China's sixth-generation fighters could significantly shift the military balance of power in East Asia, forcing neighbors and the US to rethink their own roadmaps. This new fighter program feeds directly into China's broader modernization of its aerial warfare capabilities, tying sensor, missile, and support networks into a single forward-leaning ecosystem. Beijing is simultaneously developing new satellites, long-range air-to-air missiles, next-generation AEW&C platforms and tankers, all of which are meant to complement these future fighters. Chengdu's sixth-generation fighter is described as being designed for ultra-long-range missions across the Pacific, allowing China to project air power far from its home bases. The aircraft may be able to operate beyond regular AEW&C and tanker support coverage, forcing China to build more organic range and sensing into the jet itself. Refueling support may still be available near Chinese-controlled territory, giving the jet forward reach while keeping its logistical lifelines anchored closer to home. Its unusually large nose cone could potentially house what analysts speculate might be the world's largest dedicated air combat radar, dramatically increasing detection range and target tracking capacity. Such a powerful onboard radar may reduce China's dependence on separate airborne early warning aircraft, allowing the fighter itself to serve as a sensor node deep inside contested airspace. Combined with advanced stealth shaping and high agility, this sensor suite could dramatically improve the jet's chances of surviving inside hostile-controlled airspace while still prosecuting long-range missions.